It's Ash from SuperVideos back for another live stream Q&A video. This is going to be Q&A number 116. This Q&A is a little bit late, like by 2 hours, because I was sick earlier today, so I couldn't really put on a video till now. So hopefully people will still join even though we are late. We have 3 people watching right now, which is great. So we'll just give it a few minutes here. But let me know how the stream is, because I know we had some problems on Friday night during the live stream, because in my end it was delayed, it seemed. But you know, let me know if there's any problems in that sense. But let's get right into it, because we do have some people watching and we have some questions. So let's get into it. Epic Zombie Killer Entertainment Channel Q&A. Hey Ash, do you see Alpha getting killed by Negan just like she did in the comics? I think so. I mean, that was not only a crucial part of the story for the Whisper arc, but also it was so unexpected and so shocking that it just made it a lot better, made that scene pop. You know what I mean? So I definitely think that they need to do the same thing in the show in order to make sure that it's fitting in with the story from the comics. Like I said, it was a crucial point in the story in the comic book. In terms of whether it's going to be Negan or someone else, that's difficult to say at this point, but I hope it's going to be Negan. I mean, if it's someone else, it takes away from that shock factor, from that, you know, from what it was in the comics that made it pop. So I hope they don't give it to someone else, like, for example, Daryl, because they could very well do that. I hope they don't do that. I hope they give it to Negan, just like the comics. Because I think that it was an important part in the comics story. Not only what happened, but who did it. And they're setting it up with Negan escaping as well, so I don't see a reason for them to change that when they are giving Negan what seems to be his comic arc from now as well. Going into the Whisperer story, of course. Epic Zombie Killer Entertainment Channel Q&A. Hey Ash, when do you see Rick dying in the comics? Maybe issue 200? Rick in the comics is an interesting one, because Kirkman seems to have done everything he can with the character, and there doesn't seem to be any more room for, you know, pushing that character forward and, you know, giving us something that's interesting, that's unique, that's new. So they seem to have done everything they can with Rick. Or from my point of view, there could be something that I'm not seeing. They could, you know, change his character in a way that we don't expect. But it seems like they have kind of given us more or less everything that they can give us for that character. So in terms of whether he's going to die or just be in the background for the rest of the series, I think it's better to give him a good story send-off sort of thing. So even if you don't want to kill him off, which I think it might not be a bad decision, even though I love to see Rick forever, for the sake of the story, I think it kind of makes sense, and it would kind of work. What's going on with my camera? And it could kind of work if they kill him off. And if they do, it's got to be in a big issue, like you say, 200. Or maybe if they don't want to kill him just yet, maybe 300 or something like that. But yeah, I do agree with what you're saying. We are getting to a point where it might be nice to shake things up a little bit in the comics and maybe kill Rick. And I'm not saying they should, because like I said, I don't want to see Rick go in the comics, especially because we don't have Rick in the show. But, you know, it's just one of the things where, for the sake of the story, I think it makes sense to do that. But maybe not just yet. Maybe it's a little bit too early, but maybe in the near future. Epic Zombie Killer Entertainment Channel Q&A. Hey Ash, do you see them getting rid of Negan just like they did in the comics? Well, they didn't really get rid of him. He's just out of the story. We don't know how long, right? But they could do the same thing with Negan, but not now. I don't think it's the right decision to do that now. Because, like I said, that crucial point with Alpha and Negan, and also the epic showdown between Alpha or Negan and Beta is iconic is very crucial and important and interesting and exciting and entertaining to see from the comics to the show. So, and I could have like named 10 different attributes to say how excited I am for those. But yeah, I mean, I think it's better to do that later when the time is right. Not quite yet. But to answer your question, I think they will do that, yeah. Just going to visit the poll that I have on the channel or on Twitter for the channel. On the Twitter page, the link is in the description. The poll that I had was, how much did you enjoy the first half of The Walking Dead Season 9? And you can still participate by going to the link of my Twitter on the description of this video, probably. So the responses, the answers could have been best first half ever, solid first half, good enough, or terrible. And 13 votes right now. We have 13 votes and 62% said best first half ever, which is interesting, and 38% said solid first half. I agree with that 38%. I think it was a solid first half, but I don't think it's the best first half. But yeah, you have 4 days to participate if you're interested in participating in that. Epic Zombie Killer Entertainment Channel. Q&A, hey Ash, who's more iconic, Alpha or Beta? In the comics, it was definitely Alpha to begin with, but it transitioned to Beta. And I would say as a whole, the Whispers, the iconic character from the Whispers is Beta at this point. Because I think they could have done a lot more with Alpha, and they didn't do that, which is a little disappointing. But short answer is Beta. But I think it began with Alpha, and it could have been Alpha if they did the right things with Alpha. And I don't mean they shouldn't have killed her. They could have still killed her off the same way. And I think that was important and interesting. And they should have done that, like I said. But I think they could have delayed that. They could have fleshed out the character a little bit more. Manuel Nebula Game says, hi, how are you? Glad you could join us live on this Q&A live stream. I think it's the first time I'm seeing you on the chat, so welcome. If that's the case, I don't know, I'm not sure. Epic Zombie Killer Entertainment Channel, Q&A. I feel the Whisperers need a strong end in the show because their end in the comics was pretty weak. I wouldn't say weak, I would say underwhelming a little bit. But I do agree with you 100%. They need to change the Whisperers arc at the end of it. Like, what wraps things up. In the comics, it was underwhelming, like I said. And I think they definitely need to remix that. In the comics, their introduction was epic and it was done expertlessly. But the ending of their story was somewhat underwhelming and somewhat meh. You know what I mean? It was just, that's it. You know what I mean? So I definitely agree with you that they need to change that at the end of the story. But I think for the most part, at the beginning of their arc, before we get into the actual conflict, it's perfectly done. I mean, they could remix it a little bit here and there, but I hope they don't stay off from some of those iconic scenes too much. Because I do think that the introduction of the Whisperers with the first half of their story was just perfectly done. But yeah, the second half of their story and what they did with them during the actual conflict and after the conflict was done was a little underwhelming. And I hope that they remix that. Manuel Nebula Game, yeah, thank you. I come from Italy. Welcome then. Welcome to the channel, and yeah, I hope you are entertained. I hope you're enjoying this chat as much as I am. Daily Detonation, hey Ash, do you believe Season 9 had the best first half ever? No, we just talked about that. So I actually have a poll on Twitter on the channel. Link is in the description. You can go and participate. But I'll read it again. So the poll is how much did you enjoy the first half of Season 9? Best first half ever was actually one of my responses, or one of the possible responses that you could have. Solid first half was the second. Good enough third. Terrible fourth. Thank God we don't have anyone thinking that it's terrible yet, which is great. But there were 13 votes. 62% said it's the best first half ever, and 38% said it's a solid first half. And I am in the boat of the second group. I think it was a solid first half, but I don't think it's the best first half. I like the first half of Season 6 just a hair bit more. Just a hair bit. And maybe it's biased in a way because we just had Season 9 and things hadn't completely sunk in. And also because we lost Rick in the first half, which was a great episode, made for a great episode. But, you know, in the long run, just thinking about what it means to the story kind of bums me out a little bit. So I am biased in a way about that. But I still think that Season 6's first half was a tiny bit more... or a tiny bit better than the first half of Season 9. So I'm not gonna say that it was the best first half, but it was one of the best solid first halves for sure. Epic Zombie Killer Entertainment Channel Q&A. Hey Ash, who is to blame for Jesus dying? I feel it's Gimple. He introduced him in Season 6 and Tom got bored from the character. Or with the character. Yeah, I mean, how dissatisfied the actor was needs to be blamed on the previous showrunner for underutilizing the character. But Jesus' death, or him dying, is in Season 9. And it's entirely on Angela Kang, the new showrunner. I'm not saying she's to blame, and I'm not saying that she should have done something different because, of course, the actor wanted to leave. There was no other option. She did the best thing she could do with that character who wanted to leave, or based on the actor wanting to leave. And I think that he did she did his ending, the ending of his story, justice. So, yeah. But a big blame of how underutilized Jesus was, which led to the actor not wanting to be a part of the show anymore, definitely needs to be blamed on Gimple. Daily Detonation, I voted for the poll. I chose best first half ever. I really believe it was. And yeah, like I said, it was very close with the first half of Season 6. I enjoyed the first half of Season 6 a little bit more. Just a little bit more. And it was very close for me. The episode that really did it for me was, for Season 6, making it better than the first half of Season 9, was, you know, that first episode back in Season 6. It just felt like it was at a scale of a movie. And the timeline, what they did with the timeline and everything, I was really captured. And it just basically made me excited for the season right off the bat. And I don't think that the first episode of Season 9 did that quite well. And like I said, I am biased a little bit because of what happened to Rick and everything. But yeah. But it was very close, like I said. Very, very close. Epic Zombie Killer Entertainment Channel Q&A. Hey Ash, do you believe the show got better after Rick's final episode? I believe it did, but it's just me. I think they raised up the stakes a lot more. And they raised the bar. And they concentrated the story more on different characters and not just focused everything on Rick, which it was before, which made it great for an exciting, you know, story. And it just made it more dynamic. It made it less concentrated and less bottled. And I definitely enjoyed it. You know what I mean? would I have enjoyed it if Rick was there for parts of it? Absolutely. But I do agree with you that it got a little better in terms of story because of it not being concentrated on just Rick for the most part. It still kind of is, because if you think about it, at the very end, everything is relating to Rick somehow. Every decision, every action, every scene is kind of related to Rick in some way, shape, or form. But at the end of the day, Rick is not there. It's not just completely focused on that actor, which may be the reason why it's a little bit more exciting and it just feels fresh in a way. And, it might be why we're thinking that it's better than before Rick. Epic Zombie Killer Entertainment Channel, Q&A, he asked, Jesus, his death was far better than Rick's death. From Fear Season 4, his death was stupid. Oh, Nick's death. Okay, Nick's death. Yeah, Nick's death was terrible. I mean, it just was... And especially with what they did with Charlie, the actor that killed him. It just was... Really? You know what I mean? So yeah. I definitely agree with you because the circumstances are the same. Nick's actor wanted to leave. Tom Payne, Jesus, the actor that played Jesus, wanted to leave. Or, let me actually say the name, if I can remember. Frank Delane, if I'm right. Frank Delane wanted to leave, so they had to kill off Nick. Same sort of thing. Tom Payne wanted to leave, so they had to kill off Jesus. But they did it a lot better in The Walking Dead than they did it in Fear the Walking Dead. So I completely agree with you. And in the case of The Walking Dead, it's an epic and iconic villain that they're introducing, which is great. Or his death introduced them. Jesus' death. But in the Fear the Walking Dead episode, Nick's death introduced us to Charlie. Was she really a villain? Was she the next villain? No. Did they do anything interesting with her? Not really. You know what I mean? Alright, I think something is weird with my camera because it seems to be all blurry. But let's hope for the best. I've tried fixing it, but I don't know what's wrong with the settings. It just does not work. It's just keeps focusing in and out for some reason. Even though the autofocus is off, so I don't know what's going on with it. And that's why I'm trying not to move too much so that the autofocus doesn't go all crazy. Even though it's off, like I said. Epic Zombie Killer Entertainment Channel, Q&A hash. So when do you think Maggie will return in Season 10? Will it be in Season 10 premiere? If she comes back... If she comes back in Season 10, then based on the story, I think it might be better to bring back Maggie earlier on, like the premiere, like you say. If she comes back in Season 10 first half. I think it might be second half of Season 10 though. Because I think they started filming Season 10 or they started production for Season 10 and no sign of Maggie or the actor that plays Maggie renewing a contract or anything like that. That's the only reason I'm saying this. Voltex33, hi Ash, it turns out they added free internet to my job so I can actually join. That's great, glad you could join. Voltex33, if Daryl dies, I riot. He's not dying anytime soon. Come on. They killed, or they, let me put this down. They killed Rick. And Maggie's gone. So, or Maggie is gone, but I don't know why I did the quote for Maggie. And Maggie is gone. So I don't think they're going to kill Daryl right now. Even if Maggie returns with Rick leaving, I don't think it's a good idea to kill Daryl now. I think he should be, and has always been in a way, the main face of the show. And it's even more apparent now with Rick not being there. So I don't think it's a good idea to kill Rick. Or not kill Rick, what am I saying? To kill Daryl. Epic Zombie Killer Entertainment Channel, Q&A, hey Ash, if Tara was killed by the Whisperers, who'll lead Hilltop? I think probably Daryl is going to step up and take the leadership. Not become the leader in a way, but be the face, or not face, be the person everyone goes to for advice and for leadership. You know what I mean? But he's not really the leader because it's temporary. I think Maggie returns and will retake that over. Epic Zombie Killer Entertainment Channel, Q&A, if Carl was still alive, Michonne wouldn't be as cold as she is right now. I think that's what Rick's death did, not Carl's death. I don't think so. Carl's death didn't really make Michonne a darker and colder person because we saw Michonne after Carl's death and up to Rick's disappearance. And she wasn't that cold. It was still the same old Michonne. Once Rick died or disappeared, that's what really did it for Michonne. Giuseppe De Rosa, yo Ash, glad you could join us, Giuseppe. Voltex33, do you think Morgan was talking about Whispers in season 3 when he said people wearing dead people's faces? That's debatable, but I think it was an Easter egg, but I don't think he was referring to the Whisperers, but it was definitely an Easter egg. Epic Zombie Killer Entertainment Channel, Q&A. I'm saying if Rick left and Carl was still alive, she wouldn't be like she is now. Oh, I see. Yeah, you know, that's a good point. Yeah, I see that. It could be, definitely. Animated, or if she was, Carl could have brought her back around and made her go back to how she used to be. But with Carl not being there, that's no one's really there to do that for Michonne. And I don't think Judith or RJ are quite there to do that. Maybe when they're older, maybe when when they are more when they are older and influence Michonne a bit more. That might happen along the lines of what I just said. But I don't think we're there right now. And I definitely do think if Carl was there, he might have been able to do that. Animated Alex, who do you think will win, Daryl or Beta? I think Beryl? Who's Beryl? I think, yeah, I'm shipping Daryl and Beta now. I'm saying Beryl. Anyway, I think Beta is going to beat the crap out of Daryl, and Beta is going to take Daryl's knives, and yeah. So I think it'll be, I think Beta is going to win the battle, but I don't think he's going to win the war. And comic readers will know what I mean. Giuseppe Rosa, who's the closest character to being like Rick? Closest character to being like Rick? You mean as a character? Or like, do you mean how... Do you mean being like the one character from the show that's like the face of the show and motivations are like Rick, things like that? Then I don't think it's Michonne. But that's a difficult one. That's a difficult one. I'm thinking Carol. Giuseppe De Rosa, pick one character you can bring back. One character I want to bring back to the show? Rick. Come on. Or after Rick, I would say Glenn. After Glenn, probably Shane. Animated Alex, John from Fear. Oh, I didn't know we were including Fear the Walking Dead in that discussion about who's more like Rick. I think John is a little too soft to be like Rick. Nothing against John, the actor, or John, the character, but he's a little soft. So, probably Carol, not John. But if we're looking at Fear characters, that's difficult. I mean, I don't know, that's difficult. I still think it's Carol. But that just reminded me. Danielle from Fear and Morgan from Fear or The Walking Dead, whichever way you want to look at it, they are very similar. Morgan and Danielle, so that's very interesting. So it'll be great if Danielle comes back to Fear finally and they have a scene together, or better yet, there's an entire story for them together. Animated Alex, Beryl. Yeah. Who the hell is Beryl? I know I said that, but I meant to say Beta, and then my brain was saying Beta, but my mouth said Daryl, and it kind of combined, and it became Beryl. Epic Zombie Killer Entertainment Channel, Q&A, hey Ash. By the way, I'm not a fan of Michonne. I'm not liking her attitude and how she's treating the other characters. I miss the old Michonne. Absolutely, I agree with you. Giuseppe De Rosa, as a character. As a character. I answered that question already. Michonne De Rosa, Michonne has gone through a lot of shit. Yeah, that's true. Animated Alex Morales, just kidding. Come on, I'm just kidding. I know you're just kidding. Morales came back and he died, so let's not talk about Morales anymore, please. We've had our fair share of discussion about Morales. So let's not get into that rabbit hole again. Giuseppe De Rosa, LOL, Animated Alex. Like a soft Rick. Yeah, John is a soft Rick. John is a lot like Rick before they left the farm. Or before he killed Shane. That's interesting though. Think about that. Rick, before he killed Shane, was very much like John from Fear right now. Which is very cool. Giuseppe De Rosa, I miss the days when The Walking Dead was just a small group. Yeah, it had a different feel for sure. But, you know, there's definitely more interesting and entertaining and exciting stories you can tell. Or there's only so much you can tell when you're looking at a small group. In order to tell better, interesting, more exciting stories, you need to expand. And you need to talk about bigger groups, bigger communities. And I think that it's only logical, or it makes the most sense for it to get to this point after being during the apocalypse for so long. So it's more realistic in a way as well to tell stories at this point like this with bigger communities. Animated Alex, yeah, I agree. Those were the easier days. Yeah, depends how you mean easy. What you mean by easy. It wasn't easier to survive. I think it's easier to survive now, but it was a more or smaller story type of environment, and it was easier to connect to some of the characters that way. Giuseppe De Rosa, Danielle should come to Real The Walking Dead. That would be cool. That would be cool. Epic Zombie Killer Entertainment Channel Q&A. Hey Ash, how many seasons do you see Fear the Walking Dead getting? Me, I feel 6 seasons. Well, they're getting into season 5. So they're doing season 5 for sure. I think they started filming for season 5, which is very cool. But definitely a season 5. I think we might see a season 6, but then after that, I don't know. I mean, I think they will still have Fear, but I think they might just reboot it, much like they rebooted The Walking Dead. In season 9, I mean. After Rick left. Voltex33, how will Niag? What am I talking about today? How will Negan react to the Whispers? Negan will react to the Whispers the same way he did in the comics. He would entertain them, and he would feel interested in them, but once he digs deep into what they really are, he would just not want to be a part of them, and he would try his best to help the survivors defeat them. Animated Alex, if Rick stayed a sheriff. Yeah. In a way, like I said, after he killed Shane, he was no longer the same Sheriff Rick anymore. So yeah, I kind of see what you're saying there. Just happy there was that the Morales issue pisses me off. They could have made him part of the group again. They could have done a lot of interesting stories with him. Yeah, it's only bad enough that that character came back around like this, because I don't think that was realistic whatsoever, and I think it was fan service at the end of the day. But to make it even worse, they just brought him back to kill him off, which just pissed me off too. Epic Zombie Killer Entertainment Channel Q&A. Hey Ash, I feel John is similar to Rick in season 1. Yeah, season 1 and 2 and a bit of 3, I think, like I said. Giuseppe Rosa, what if the governor was in charge of the saviors? Then that would, I mean, he would do the same thing he did. He would try to take over. Negan didn't really do that. He just wanted resources, right? And he was somewhat reasonable, and I don't think he was as vicious as the governor. Or he is as vicious as the governor. I don't think so. Epic Zombie Killer Entertainment Channel, you're forgetting Gimple was showrunner during Season 8. If Angela Kang was the showrunner in Season 8, Morales would have survived longer. If they did bring him back, even at that point, yeah, I think he would have survived longer. Giuseppe De Rosa, what if Negan met the governor? That would be entertaining to watch. Animated Alex, Danielle could fit in perfectly in The Walking Dead. Yeah, I kind of see that, yeah. Alright, let's go for last few questions here. We're 36 minutes in, so let's go for the last few questions here. Rapid fire Q&A. Giuseppe De Rosa, Morales would have made a great character. Yeah, absolutely. I didn't actually mean that. I was being sarcastic there. I mean, I didn't really connect with the character. He was cool, but to bring him back, I didn't see the purpose of that. Giuseppe Rosa, especially that we don't have many season 1 characters left after Daryl, Carol, and Morgan. Yeah, but I don't consider Morales a season 1 character because he hasn't been there. He left. You know what I mean? He was gone for 90% of the story. You know what I mean? Or he wasn't even a part of 90% of the story. That's what I mean. Epic Zombie Killer Entertainment Channel. Speaking of Gimple, he sure did screw over Aaron or a ton of people in Season 8. Yeah, from Carl to what they did with Morales, bringing him back and everything, to underutilizing Jesus, to what they did with... Who else was there? I think that's pretty much how much story they gave Tara, for whatever reason. But yeah, I do see what you're saying. Voltix33, gotta go. Bye, Ash. Bye, glad you could join. And yeah, we're gonna shut this thing down in a couple minutes as well. Just happy there was that they could have made a Morales movie, so much potential with him. Like I said, I didn't really care too much about the character. I didn't, you know, I was indifferent about this character to begin with. So, yeah. Animated Alex, helicopter boy, officer friendly. Not sure what you're referring to. Manual Nebula game, Beta was killed by Daryl or Negan. Or do I want Beta to be killed off by Daryl or Negan? Let me think. Who did the deed in the comics? I don't remember. Was it Negan in the comics? I'm drawing a blank. I don't remember. That's crazy. I'm drawing a blank. I don't remember who killed Beta in the comics, but in the show, I think it should be... Because if they stick with comics material, Negan will be a part of similar storylines with Alpha, right? So I don't think they should do Negan. I think they should do maybe Michonne, maybe Daryl. Giuseppe, that was the dumbest decision ever, killing Carl so early, bring Morales back, and then killing him. Yeah, absolutely. Epic Zombie Killer Entertainment Channel. He's also responsible for making Josh McDermott deleting all his social media because Gimple made him so unlikable. I don't agree with that. I mean, that's just on fans being ridiculous, not on Gimple. Manual Nebula game in the comics by Negan. Oh, did it happen by Negan in the comics? Then that's crazy because Negan did both, Beta and Alpha, which is interesting. I didn't think of that. But yeah, I think it shouldn't be Negan for both cases in the show. Animated Alex Morales references. Not sure what you mean there. Giuseppe De Rosa, Morales gave me a season 1 vibe, whatever. He's dead now. Yeah. Animated Alex, Comic Jesus and Aaron killed him. Comic Jesus and Aaron killed him. Yeah, that's what it was. In the comics, it wasn't Negan. I was confused. Yeah, it wasn't Negan. It was Comic Jesus and Aaron that killed Beta, I think. You're right about that, I think. So, yeah. They could give it to Aaron. I mean, he is looking like Rick a lot in the show, which makes it interesting just to see him kill him. But, yeah, I think Daryl, Aaron, or Michonne. Maybe Aaron would make more sense because Aaron and Jesus were close. The Whisperers killed Jesus. Beta is one of the main leaders of the Whisperers. So, as a type of thing where it's like taking revenge, vengeance sort of thing, maybe makes more sense for Aaron to do it. Giuseppe De Rosa, gotta go. Good luck, Ash. Thank you for joining. Appreciate it. Epic Zombie Killer Entertainment Channel. In the comics, Aaron killed Beta. Yeah, I think it was Aaron. Yeah. I think Jesus helped, but Aaron did the deed. Alright, let's shut this thing down. We've been going for like 40 minutes. So that's it for this live stream Q&A. Thank you everyone who joined and participated. I appreciate the support and everything. I'm sorry I was late. And yeah, I'll see you guys next Friday night for the next live stream. Stay tuned this week for a couple of things. One, I will be doing my Throwback Thursday top 10 video, which I'm doing for the off season. So I will be doing that, and the first episode is going to be top 10 volumes ranked. So stay tuned for that on Thursday. Stay tuned for the recommended video by Giuseppe De Rosa, which is an interesting topic. If you don't know what it is, I won't say it here so that, you know, you'll be more shocked when you see it, because it's a great one. It's a great one. If you know what it is, then it's great, because, you know, it is in the comments. In the comment of the last live stream. So if you're interested, go there and check it out. But yeah, that's going to be coming up as well this week. So that's 2. And then another video coming up this week about my opinions and predictions on what the X marks are on Michonne and Daryl. So that'll be the 3rd video for this week. So most likely only 3 videos this week. But, you know, starting... Oh, and also the comic review this week as well. I think it's coming this week, yeah. So those 4 videos for this week, and then we'll see what happens for the week after. But most likely we'll still have our recommended video again based on whatever happens on Friday night, because I'm going to pull a recommended video on that live stream. But we'll have that. We'll have the Throwback Thursday ranked video next week again as well. And it'll keep going until we get into the second half. So, you know, we'll have 2 static videos every week from now until we get into season 9 second half. But then other than that, I will definitely do more discussion videos and videos like that for sure. And also, of course, we will have our 2 live stream Q&A videos every week as well. But that's it. Thank you everyone for participating and asking questions. I really appreciate it. Let me just answer the next 4 questions very, very quickly. Or 3 questions. Epic Zombie Killer Entertainment Channel, Q&A. Hey Ash, do you think we'll see Princess in the show? Probably when we get to that point, yes. Negan's Mayo Sandwich, I think season 9 second half will be good. It looks great. It looks pretty good, yeah. Epic Zombie Killer Entertainment Channel, Q&A. By the way, Ash, will we see Dante in the show? Most likely not. I don't think we'll see Dante. I think they just scrapped that character altogether because Maggie's not there. If they do bring Maggie back, they might give Dante's story to the what's the Savior's name? Oh, I keep forgetting his name. Is it Dylan? No, it's not Dylan. Alden. They might give Dante's story to Alden in season 10 maybe. So yeah, but I think for now, I think they might have just completely scrapped that character altogether. That's it for this video. Thank you everyone. I'll see you next week during the live stream, but I'll see you earlier for the other videos that I talked about. See you later.